He can still write a verse, but his verse always has drug dealer references in him.
Yeah.
When he's admitted to being a correctional officer.
Okay.
In order to be a correctional officer, you have to not have any criminal history.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. What kind of rich nigga cut his own grass? Why you out there cutting your own grass?
Many men
You're trying to save money, nigga? You don't want to pay for the lawn to get cut, huh?
Let me ask you
The
this.
AC broken in the motherfucker.
Let me ask you this.
Ain't nothing wrong with cutting your grass. We wearing Travis Scotts all week.
Yeah. What is it with you and Ross that's just been going on for so long?
Nothing else works. For him, outside of mentioning me. When things get bad, you mention me. It gets covered further. I get covered across the board. They get covered on the hip hop blog. It is what it is. And you watch because I have nothing else to say. You'll just see it happen periodically as it goes. You know, you see that big white elephant, that property he lives at? It costs more than the nightclubs. He's in the nightclubs.
We just came here on the jet, but if anybody needs to borrow one, we might can let you borrow one, you know what I'm saying? They caught you lacking, Officer Ricky. You know the vibes, back outside, let's go Knicks. Getting off that jet, black truck waiting. Meanwhile, Officer Ricky making up excuses. Talking about his jets in the shop. Nah. They caught you lacking, Officer Ricky. You got caught lacking. You got caught lacking. Black truck out right quick. You know where we at. Back at the Clearport. You know how we do it. You know how we do it. Got that Rick Ross explaining himself now, talking about his jet getting Wi-Fi. Don't start stuttering now. Yo, you saw Rick Ross playing?
Not here.
Did you see Officer Ricky playing?
Not here.
It's not here? Oh, Rick Ross jet not here. New York, let's go Knicks. Let's go Knicks. How you doing? We outside. We got Officer Ricky making excuses. Got Officer Ricky explaining himself. Explain them low ticket sales. No, I don't own the jet. Just take a lot of jet. Whoa! We ain't high like Rick Ross in the airport neither. It's all good. Heading back to New York. Let's go Knicks. Let's go Knicks. Riding through the airport. We ain't on the low. We outside. How y'all doing, people?
For the ones who want to know where my jet at, I obviously didn't get the memo. It's being updated with Starlink. You know what Starlink is? Yeah, that's the $500,000 Wi-Fi. Yeah, that's where my jet at. And I chose to fly commercial to Colombia. And coming from a boss, I gotta let you know how this go. When Ricky Rose take flights, it's 6 digits. I'm going to get some Mounion, the Mounion. But don't y'all ever look down on no young hustlers who, if they walking, if they riding a bicycle, if they riding on the train, don't you ever look down on those young hustlers going to get some money. I don't care if you young hustlers driving Uber, Rose gonna salute you like a heavyweight.
You ain't no boss, Ricky. You police. Just a fat cop that lock niggas and eat. Boss.
Ricky Rose.
Boy, you took your name from a real one out the street. Miami Vice, yeah, he ice. He walked the beat. Officer Ricky on the beat, but he ain't rapping. All that gangster talk he be doing, it be acting. He ain't bout no gunplay, pussy nigga yapping. Never did no street shit, never did no trapping. Doing too much capping when he out of uniform. Don't believe a word, he is real as a unicorn. Kingpin in the booth on the street, all he doing phone. Mess with that pig if you want to. You been warned, you ain't no boss Ricky. You police. Just a fat cop that like niggas and eat boss. Boy, you took your name from a real one out the street. Miami Vice, yeah, he hikes, he walked the beat. For the Miami Ricky's National Guard. Got a couple dollars, but he is not a star. Bag of money, but he got it working for the law. He ain't spitting bars. He put people behind bars. Party at the mansion parking lot, police cars. Box Chevy wide, better watch the things you talk. Triple C's, cops, cuffs, and coke, hell no. Even the beard fake attach a toupee to his jaw. You ain't no boss Ricky, you police. Just a fat cop that lock niggas and eat boss. Boy, you took your name from a real one out the street. Miami Vice, yeah, he ice. He walked the beat.
50 Cent is reacting to Rick Ross allegedly having money problems, and the internet is eating this whole situation up. The man everybody knows as the boss, the same rapper who built his image on Maybachs, mansions, private jets, and luxury living, is suddenly catching heat over questions that got fans picking sides fast. Is Rick Ross really feeling pressure behind the scenes, or is this just the internet grabbing a few messy moments and turning them into a full-blown broke narrative? Because this is where it gets wild. Photos have been floating around of Ross allegedly sitting in economy on a regular commercial flight, the same Ross who spent years selling that private jet lifestyle like it was nothing. Then people started side-eyeing one of his AP watches, asking if it was truly official or just a flashy piece that looked expensive from far away. And on top of that, reported numbers from recent shows have people raising eyebrows because the math is looking shaky. Behind the boss talk, the Maybach music shine, the giant mansion flexes, and that crazy car collection, folks are starting to look closer at the money picture, and what they see is not as clean as expected. The real reason this broke narrative is catching so much attention is way deeper than a few jokes online, and we are about to unpack the whole thing. To make it even messier, 50 Cent, the one person who has spent years clowning Rick Ross and questioning his image, is watching this play out in real time, right in front of everybody's face, and he clearly cannot stay quiet. We are diving into some real industry politics, ego clashes, and money talk that has the hip-hop world locked in. This is not just about one viral photo or one random rumor. This is about 50 Cent and Rick Ross, the broke allegations, the so-called receipts people keep pointing at, and what the full picture really looks like once you connect all these pieces together. So keep your eyes open, because this story gets slippery fast. Before we jump into the drama, let me keep it real. The idea of Rick Ross having money issues has been floating around comment sections and social media timelines for a while now. But recently, it moved from random online chatter into a real mainstream conversation, and that switch happened quick. People who never cared about this beef, never checked the money talk, and never looked at the touring numbers are suddenly seeing these headlines and asking serious questions. That is how loud this story got. But we are not just running with memes, jokes, and cheap shots. We are going to separate what is real, what is stretched, and what is just internet noise. Because the online clowning tells half the story. To understand why this hit so hard, you have to know the backstory. The 50 Cent and Rick Ross beef is not fresh drama. This has been one of hip-hop's longest, messiest, most personal feuds. And that history explains why every 50 reaction cuts different when Ross gets dragged online. When 50 laughs, people know there is years of smoke behind it. This tension goes back to around 2008 and 2009 when 50 Cent helped push information into the public that went straight at Rick Ross's image. Before the Boss brand, before the rap takeover, before Maybach music became a whole movement, William Leonard Roberts II had reportedly worked as a correctional officer at a Florida state prison. In hip-hop culture, that revelation hits different. Ross built his whole image around street power, boss talk, the drug lord look, and the feeling that he was living what he rapped about. So when people found out he had reportedly worked as a corrections officer, a CO, that was not small detail. It put him on the other side of the system from the image fans thought they were buying into. In the streets, authenticity is real currency, and hip-hop fans know when something feels off. It is not only about records or videos. It is about whether the person on the mic matches the person behind the scenes. That CO story cracked the armor around Ross's boss persona, and 50 Cent has been poking at it for years. Ross mostly denied it, redirected, and kept moving. And to be fair, his fan base did not disappear. His music still worked, the hits kept coming, and his commercial run stayed strong through that era. But once doubt got planted, 50 made sure it stayed alive. Over time, the beef turned into war from every angle. There were diss records, online shots, courtroom issues, and non-stop trolling. 50 did not treat clowning Ross like a one-time joke. He made it part of his public playbook, pulling it back out whenever a new moment gave him real ammo. What makes 50 so dangerous in moments like this is how he uses social media like a weapon. He does not just post and move on. He finds the one angle that embarrasses you the most, turns it into a viral joke, and drops it with timing so sharp that defending yourself almost makes it worse. But here's where it gets serious. For years, Ross could take those shots because his success was loud enough to protect the image. Even when people questioned where the boss persona really came from, the numbers still backed him up. When you are dropping #1 albums, running a label with artists making noise, selling shows, and landing brand deals, people can call it hate because the results look official. The boss was making boss money, and that made 50's attacks feel more like trolling than a real warning. So the big question is, what changed? This is where the money timeline matters. Before we talk about the rumors today, we have to talk about Rick Ross at his peak, because that peak was not fake. It was major for real too. From around 2008 to 2014, Ross was really moving like a top-tier rap star. Port of Miami, Trilla, Deeper Than Rap, Teflon Don, those projects were not small moments. They sold strong, kept his name heavy in hip-hop, and helped make Ross look like one of the most steady commercial players in the game. Maybach Music Group gave him a bigger lane than just being the rapper with the deep voice and luxury talk. Under Warner Brothers, that imprint let him move like a boss for real. He signed artists, helped shape records, built a whole crew around his name, and created money lanes coming from more than one direction. At his peak, Forbes and other music business outlets estimated Ross was pulling in several $1 million a year through music, touring, label moves, brand plays, and businesses like his Wingstop franchises. On paper, that looked like real mogul motion to the outside world. But here is where the story gets tricky. Around 2015, the music business started changing fast. And that shift is a big reason this broke narrative has legs today. Physical and digital album sales used to be a major money lane for artists like Ross, especially when moving units still meant real checks. But once streaming took over, that whole system flipped. Streaming can keep catalog money coming in, but the rates are low, and unless you are sitting in that top bracket, the Drake lane, the Kendrick lane, the artist pulling hundreds of millions of streams every drop, streaming alone is not built to support a lifestyle as huge as the one Ross has always shown. Let me put it in plain street math. If a song gets 1 million streams on Spotify, the total payout from that platform is often estimated around $3,000 to $5,000. That sounds nice until you remember the artist usually does not keep all of it. Labels, publishers, producers, writers, and collaborators can all have pieces of that pie, so the real take-home can shrink quick. For somebody like Ross, who became huge in the album sale era and then had to move through the streaming era, the money picture is not the same anymore. The checks may still be coming, but the structure changed. Now the question is simple. What stayed expensive while the income lanes were shifting? And that is where the side eyes start. The mansions are still there, and those places are not cheap to keep running. Ross has been tied to major real estate, including that huge Georgia property he has talked about often. A house that big is not just a flex for the camera. It comes with taxes, upkeep, staff, lights, water, insurance, repairs, and all kinds of bills showing up every month. That is the part people forget when they see the lifestyle. The cars, the jewelry, the trips, the crew, and the public image all cost money non-stop. When your whole brand is built on looking like the biggest boss in every room, you have to keep feeding that image, and that image can get expensive fast. The real issue is the gap. If the income today is not hitting like it did during the peak years, but the spending still looks like peak year spending, that is where people start whispering about money pressure. And to be fair, this is not only a Rick Ross thing. A lot of artists blew up in one music economy, then had to survive in a whole different one. But because Ross built his name on wealth, any small crack looks louder. Now let's get into the moments that pushed this from background chatter to front page drama, because the so-called receipts are what made the internet go crazy. The economy flight situation came first, and it hit Ross right where his image lives. For years, Rick Ross made private jet travel part of the whole boss package. It is in the music, the posts, and the way he sells that luxury lifestyle. The jet is not just a flex for Ross, it is part of the myth. It represents the level he says he moves on. So, when photos and reports started floating around claiming Ross was sitting in economy on a regular commercial flight, people online reacted like they had found the exact proof they were waiting for. The jokes came fast, and 50 Cent fans already knew he was about to have a field day. Now, keeping it fair, there are normal reasons somebody rich might fly commercial. It could be timing, availability, routes, or plane travel logistics. But this hit different because Ross has been so specific about how he moves. When you spend years saying private jets are your everyday travel, being allegedly seen in economy does not land like a regular travel choice at all. That moment became Exhibit A for people already building the case against Ross. The memes hit instantly, the comments got ruthless, and 50 Cent jumped right in like someone who had been waiting years for this exact opening. He did not waste a second, because when Ross gives him a lane, 50 knows how to drive through it. His reaction was quick, sharp, and calculated. The posts, captions, and the way he framed the flight situation were aimed at making the moment sting hard. That is what makes 50 so effective. He does not just laugh at one clip and leave it there. He ties every new situation back to the bigger story he has been pushing for years. So when he clowned the economy flight, it hit harder than a normal joke. He connected it to the correctional officer history, the old image questions, and the pattern he believes he has been pointing out for over a decade. To 50, this was not just about one seat on one plane, it was another receipt in the file. That is real hip-hop mind games, and 50 is one of the best at playing them. But the flight situation was only the first layer. Then came the alleged fake AP watch drama, and that made things even more awkward for Ross's luxury image. The Audemars Piguet Royal Oak is one of the most famous luxury watches worldwide. In hip-hop, an AP is not just a watch, it is a status stamp. That piece tells people you reached a certain money level. Depending on the model, setup, and custom work, an Audemars Piguet can run from around $30,000 to several $100,000 if diamonds and rare details are involved. So when somebody like Ross wears one, fans do not see it as normal jewelry. They see it as proof of the boss image. That is why the watch talk got so messy. When people from the jewelry and watch world started questioning whether a piece Ross wore publicly was a real AP or a high-end replica, it became bigger than one accessory. Watch people are not casual with this stuff. They zoom in, slow footage down, study the dial, the case, the bracelet, the crown, the finishing, all the tiny details that a fake can struggle to copy. And the online breakdowns were not exactly helping Ross. He never gave the kind of clear, verified answer that would shut the skeptics up, so the story kept moving. Now mix that with the economy flight drama, and people started building a whole picture. To them, it looked like the luxury image might be moving faster than the real money behind it, and that idea spread to millions fast. That is where the scandal gets extra loud. Let that sit for a second. Every flex, every money post, every car, chain, watch, mansion shot, and luxury move is now being watched through a different lens, because these moments changed how people look at Ross. Once the crowd starts searching for cracks, they start spotting them everywhere, even when some of those cracks might be exaggerated or not real at all. Now we have to talk about the touring side, because this is where the money conversation gets way more concrete. For an artist at Rick Ross's level, live shows are usually one of the strongest money lanes left in today's music game. Album sales are not what they used to be. Streaming can bring money in, but the payout per play is low, and shows are still where artists can touch real checks and prove demand is there. A strong headlining run can still make an artist millions, even in this new industry. But the streets have been talking, and the chatter around some of Ross's recent performance dates has not exactly helped the boss image. Fans who claimed they went to shows, plus people watching ticket availability online, pointed to venues that allegedly were not packed, prices getting cut close to showtime, and crowds that did not match what people expect from a name like Rick Ross. That kind of optics can get ugly when your brand is built on being bigger than everybody. Now, this is where we have to be fair and say something important. One show being light does not prove everything, because live events can be tricky. The city matters, the date matters, prices matter, local promo matters, and other events can change the crowd. So you cannot take one weak night and act like it tells the whole story. But when people notice the same chatter in different places, that is when the talk gets louder. Add that to the economy flight, the watch questions, and the money rumors already floating around, and suddenly the touring conversation does not feel random. It starts looking like another piece of the bigger puzzle. And for anybody who does not know how touring money works, here is the street math. A major artist on the road has big costs before they touch the stage. Crew, travel, hotels, equipment, production, sound, lights, venue deals, all that money has to be handled whether the room is packed or not. So if ticket sales come in lower than expected, the tour is not just making less profit, it can start bleeding money. Do that across multiple shaky dates, and the income lane can turn into a money drain real quick. And of course, 50 Cent saw it all and kept pushing the narrative, tying every Ross show rumor back to the bigger story. 50 has basically turned trolling Rick Ross into a whole media machine, and right now that machine is running full blast. But this story is bigger than jokes, memes, and viral posts. What this beef really shows is two different views of hip-hop, image, authenticity, and what people in the culture actually respect. 50 Cent's story has always been built on a foundation that survived real scrutiny. He got shot 9 times, came out of Southside Queens, and fought his way from street mixtapes to a massive record deal. Even when 50 exaggerated in his music like rappers do, his wins outside the booth were still visible. G-Unit became a real brand. His vitamin water deal was reported to bring in tens of millions, and Power turned him into a serious television force. Those are not just Instagram flexes. Those are documented moves people can point to. So when 50 calls somebody out for not being who they claim to be, it lands because he has built something that can be checked, measured, and examined without falling apart. That is why his trolling hits more like strategy than comedy. Rick Ross's situation is different because the base of his brand was always more polished and built up than 50's. The drug kingpin image, the luxury claims, the idea that he moved outside the system, all of that depended on the audience buying the presentation. That does not take away from his music, his hits, or his career, but it does make the image easier to attack when people start looking too close. And this is not just Rick Ross versus 50 Cent anymore. This is about what happens in the social media era when the space between image and reality gets exposed to millions at the same time. Hip-hop has always had artists who stretch the truth. That is part of the game in some ways. But back in the day, fans could not fact-check every flex in real time like they can now with one quick viral post. Today, everything moves different. A clip of a rapper allegedly flying economy can hit millions of people in one day. A watch expert can zoom in frame by frame and have everybody questioning the jewelry. A fan can post empty seats from a show, and suddenly the whole internet is debating ticket sales and demand loudly. That level of scrutiny is way bigger than what existed 15 years ago. And 50 Cent, who helped pioneer using social media as a weapon in rap beef, understands that better than almost anybody. 50 does not just react to these moments, he helps push them everywhere. He takes something that might have stayed as a small post seen by a few thousand people, then turns it into a story millions are laughing at, debating, and sharing. That kind of amplification is why his involvement hits so hard and why it can damage Ross's image so fast. But the bigger issue is what this means for Rick Ross moving forward. At this point, the broke narrative has grown legs of its own, separate from any single incident. Even if every claim got cleared up, even if somebody proved the watch was real, explained the economy flight as a one-time travel issue, and showed the tour talk was being twisted, people would still keep running with the idea. That is how the internet works once a story gets framed. After the crowd decides what the headline is, anything that challenges it gets looked at through that same lens. Ross does not have many easy plays left. He can keep moving like nothing changed, keep posting the flexes, dropping music, touring, and hope enough strong new moments drown out the bad talk before it becomes the main story again. Ross could face the questions head on and try to shut the talk down with proof, but that move is risky. Once you open the books, even one gap can look worse than the rumor itself. One weak answer, one missing detail, and the internet turns it into scandal. He could also shift the brand into something that does not lean so hard on money flexing. But that is a serious pivot. Ross built years of music, videos, interviews, and posts around being the biggest boss. So changing that image late would not be easy. What he probably cannot do is make 50 Cent stop. 50 is not chasing a payout from Ross, and Ross cannot offer anything that ends the trolling. This feels personal. It is part of 50's public identity, and as long as the internet keeps giving him clips, rumors, and awkward moments, he will keep running. The economy flight gave him content, the watch questions gave him content, every tour date people side-eye, every money report that pops up, every moment where the image looks shaky becomes fresh ammunition, and 50 knows exactly how to use it. At the end of the day, Rick Ross's situation is not only about whether he is broke or not broke. It is about whether an image built on money, mansions, watches, cars, and private jet talk can survive when every flex gets checked online. This is really about what happens when the gap between the persona and the real person starts looking too wide. Ross has spent years selling the boss lifestyle, and now people are asking if that lifestyle still lines up with reality behind the scenes. And when you add 50 Cent into the mix, it gets colder because 50 is not just watching. He makes sure every crack gets seen. The real question is simple. Does Rick Ross have the money, creativity, and control to get through this moment without his brand taking a serious hit? Hip-hop has seen artists bounce back from ugly image problems before, but hip-hop has also seen brands fall apart when the pressure got heavy and the public stopped believing the story. Right now, the conversation is moving. The questions are being asked, alleged receipts are flying around, and 50 Cent is sitting back with the energy of a man who has been waiting years to say, "I told you so." Whether people think 50 is hating or exposing what he always believed, he is keeping this alive. So what do you think about Rick Ross and where this goes next for the boss? Is the broke narrative based on evidence, or is the internet going too far? And what about 50 Cent's role in all this? Drop your thoughts in the comments and click the video on screen for more Dripzine deep dives into hip-hop's wildest stories. We are not done, not even close.